All right, good morning, everyone. So, um, today, well, the SPY looks like it's going to open to the high side of its of yesterday's move, pulling back just a tad. The VIX is still a bit high. The VIX is still over 22. A move through 22 today. Let me just pull this down here so everybody can see. We're on this bull pattern here, and it's lasting. There's a nice little pullback after making a new high, and so now, let's see. I think it's just going to continue going higher until further notice. Once this thing actually rolls over, we'll know. So, okay, Koss just hit. All right, so the VIX here. I have a level at 22, and actually, where did my other level go? The VIX, I'm gonna have to go back and fix that here real quick. Oh, it shows up here. It just didn't show up on the 10-minute. All right. So there is, I don't know why I'm not getting it here. Let's see. At 18, it's just not showing up on the chart. So this is the top of the gap from the end of February where the VIX just took off. You can see here it's doing its best to get down and stay down below 22, and just kind of hasn't yet. So, I put an alarm on the VIX, so when it breaks through, I will look to get into some SPY calls for further move to the upside. The ad right now, pre-market doesn't really count so much on the ad, but right now it's positive. 1,000 symbols are green as compared to the advanced decline line there. All right, so this morning Mnso is on watch. It's getting a little bump in the pre-market right now. It's up 10.36% pre-market. I put Fibonacci on this and mapped out these two levels. Right now, it's kind of struggling or popping above and below this first Fibonacci level at 3090. So it kind of takes it off the table, and it'll be a bit of a measure for later. If I imagine that this thing is going to sell off a little bit when it opens. So I've got a level of 28. Really, 2864 is my most confident level. A cross back above 3090 will be bullish for a quick trade. I don't know if I will be watching it at the time, though. I don't know if I'll be able to pull back over to it if I'm watching something else. So 2864 is the high confidence level. I move down below and then back above 390 is a confidence level for me for a trade. Mstr, so Bitcoin put in a 25%. Really, that would be a bear move. Let me pull Bitcoin down over here real quick. So Mstr is essentially a Bitcoin play. And from here, from the top down here to this bottom, you can see that was a 23.15% move. Let's compare it to other moves this thing has made here. From here to here, that's a 28% move essentially. Back here, in this time frame of mid-January. We could see another period of this took a dump here and then kind of slid for a while and then came up, and then on the day that it cleared this previous high, it really cleared it. You can see here on this candle, this was on this one candle. Let's see what this day was here. This was let me do that the other direction. It says it was negative 18. This was a 22% day, So I mean, there's nothing about looking backward really that will predict what happens in the future. So I don't know. You just got to kind of get an idea of what's going on. At least have so you're at least in the ballpark. So MSTR, I have levels on MSTR, and these are levels from yesterday here. Let's bring the Fibonacci back up. Yeah, maybe I'll correct these a little bit here. Let's see. Let's get rid of these levels. Yes, I want to still get rid of it. Yes, I want to still get rid of it. All right. Now, this is MSTR. There's this gigantic price gap right here, and it's still really gappy. You can actually kind of see that MSTR is in this. There's a little bit hard to see, I guess, on a small screen. There's this gap here in price from, let's call it 820 to 853, roughly $30 gap. And then back here is just an enormous gap, but it also there's this gap that also covers kind of the other gap. So I like gaps. However, when you get gaps that aren't filled in both directions, I don't know, things get a little bit weird. I imagine that this thing will probably today. I mean, if I were to guess, which is all we can all do. I mean, some guesses you have higher confidence than other guesses. Like if you flip a penny 10 times and you get, heads, 8 of those times, statistically speaking, tails is the next most likely thing to pop up. My guess is on this one that it comes down to fill this gap right here today. So my guess is we'll probably get a little bit of buying in the morning, and then have this thing drift down. So a day that's inside of roughly, we'll call it 860, 870. And bounces down to 820 on MSTR, wouldn't surprise me. And so you got to be a really, really good trader in order to profit in sort of the chop like that. I'm not highly confident in my ability to trade this chop. I have it on watch. If there's something, if it sets up, just beautifully, like for example, it comes down and bounces off of the 708 level. It's kind of a bit further than I was. It comes down to bounce off of this 815 level and then takes off in the other direction. I could be confident in that. Let's see. I'll put a Fibonacci on it. What's the exact number back here? 814.85. Let's adjust that. There we go. 814.85. All right. I'll put an alarm on it. If it pulls back to that, I'll give it a shot. Then what did I say the top of the gap was? The top of the gap is pretty much, or let's see, top of the gap is pretty much the top of this candle right here. That's close enough. Yeah, so all right, I have an entry on MSTR at $814.85 a share. MP, this is an interesting one. This is one that I have a lot of confidence on. I'm going to put this one in the front right here. I'm gonna order my stocks now. My list, so it kind of threw me off a little bit. I'm going to put this one here. So, all right, MP, Mnso, MSTR, VIPS. All right. MT is a materials play, non-energy minerals. And in inflationary environments, you can't say it's commodities, but essentially what they're pulling out of the ground is a commodity. You know, I don't know, maybe they're pulling zinc or who knows what they're pulling out, but kind of just I like the raw materials inflation play. It is up almost 6% here pre-market. I have a pullback level, so if this thing, you know, if people come in and they're like, oh hey, look, you know, this stock is you know, running up from 33 to 45. What is that? It's like, you know, 30-some% difference in a matter of 3 days. Imagine there will probably be some profit takers here. So if I get a pullback to 44.31 or 42.95, I'm a buyer with both hands. And you know, I'm going to put a another level here over top of its all-time high, and then put an alarm on it. So if this thing starts breaking into all-time highs in the regular session, I'll also be a buyer. VIPS, retail trade. This one, I put levels, pretty tight levels on this one. And so the way I'm going to play this one is if it gets down here to 37.53, I'll take 100 shares. 37.30, I'll put 200 shares, and at 37.09, I'll put 300 shares. So I'll be in this for a total of 600 shares, and looking for a 1% bounce on this. Retail trade does not light my fire. There's an economic recovery that's on the horizon. Maybe it's in swing now. It's a foreign company, so I'm more confident. Let's say Mnso. I'm going to put this third on the list here. So I've got Mnso, MP in the lead, Mnso, VIPS, and then Mstr. So it's, yeah, anyway, all right. So Mstr. Okay, so now next, Koss, consumer durables. This is one that I've traded before, and I don't think, you know, even with this, I mean, gigantic run here from 23 to 127, I don't think that I really traded. This is some kind of a short squeeze play, right along the lines with Gamestop, and I don't remember doing all that well with it, So there's something about the short squeeze. Oh yeah, that's what it is. It's the brokerages and the exchanges and the blah blah blah. So when all these short squeezes were going on, I was timid to trade them because I've seen the manipulation, and there was a particular period between Christmas and New Year's. In that week, there were three specific stocks. I remember one of them was UUU, and there were the two others, and the exchanges just shut trading down on these three stocks that week, and shut it down for like 3 hours each. And the closing price at the what would usually be like a trading halt is what it's called. The closing price on one of them in particular, I remember, was $28 a share, and then it opened up again at 17 3 hours later. And so if you'd even taken 1,000 shares on UUU, or I don't even remember what stock exactly it was, I remember that 28 to 17 drop. You know, and I'd usually trade around 1,000 or 2,000 shares on a momentum play like that. But the exchanges shut these three stocks down, and I mean, they dropped like 50% or so on the open, you know. And fortunately, you know, I had gotten in and out of those trades really quickly and taken small profits. I'm talking like $200 profits on these stocks that are making really big moves. So when these short squeezes, so KOSS, there was all the you know, hoopla about short squeezes and, you know, big moves and so on and so on. I just got minimally involved. I mean, I really just didn't hang out to trade those moves really much at all. And it's because of the way that I saw what I experienced, or what I saw. I didn't really experience it, fortunately, but what I saw between December 25th and January 1st in that week of trading in there, where the exchanges, I mean, they really must have screwed a bunch of people, but that's the way it goes. So KOSS is another one of these names. It's a short squeeze. I haven't really done the research on it. All I did was look at some headlines and saw short squeeze. And there are a few others. There's, of course, there's GameStop, which I'm about to get to, and so forth. So today, a pullback to 26. There's a gap. There's a really small gap. So pullback to 26.66, and I'll see what it's doing. I have an alarm on it. And then to 25, I'm a confident buyer at 25. 25 is just a big round number that attracts support levels. People are like, it's $25, it's $20, $10 is the same way. $5. They're just levels that people pay attention to quite often, and they're good spots for trading. Okay, so DYNT. Now, what I like about DYNT is it's doing something similar to what SYPR did yesterday, in that it had its aftermarket, post-market run-up. The news isn't all that great, I don't think. Headlines for KOS. Here I am on DYNT, and I'm getting headlines for KOSS. It's so annoying. I don't know why TradingView does that. But anyway, it's flirting with this post-market high from yesterday. Had a run up. The headline on this is basically one of DYNT's subsidiaries had contract renewal with some other supplier or something, and so it's it's good news for the stock. It's just another small cap momentum play, though, so it's nothing to get married to here. Let's see. I'm not getting. Usually, there's a pop up down. Here we go. So net income is negative 3.43 million on revenues of 53 million. That's not bad. I mean, they're showing a loss, but in the wash, before taxes, dividends, interest, and so forth, and depreciation, they're probably running. I haven't looked at the numbers, but it's probably a profitable company outside of the accounting mumbo jumbo. All right, and finally, GameStop here. I'm willing to take a stab at GameStop at 134.75, and that's it. And it will be a very small position, probably 10 or 20 shares, and I'll see if I can scalp some cash. There are a couple things about this. One, I'm worried that the exchanges and the brokerages are going to pull their tricks, the same tricks they pulled last time with being able to trade GameStop. I'm worried about the exchanges doing halts that will be 3 hours long, and then the price of the stock coming down, 50%. This is a really risky play, not just because of the price action, but also because of sort of the context of in the history of this thing, trading and moving and halting and brokerages limiting shares and so on and so on. I'm not all that enthusiastic. I mean, if the juice is worth the squeeze, and it's obvious, then I'll take an entry. And 134.75 would be an obvious entry for me. Something, though, that I find interesting is that this stock, still on its float, still has a 70-some% short on its float, which is kind of like, if I were a hedge fund or if I were, whatever house, trading house, something like that, and I was still short GameStop after this gigantic run and everything, I wouldn't be. If anybody is getting squeezed on this, it serves them right. If there's anybody that is, if this thing, I can't imagine GameStop. I mean, I could be wrong, but I can't imagine GameStop going up over this 483 price level here. I mean, if this thing goes past 483, the Reddit chat users were talking about pushing this thing to 1,000 before. This time around, I think that if the exchanges get involved with protecting the market makers and so on, it'll really be a very negative for the exchanges and the markets, because anyone who is still short on this name after what happened recently just deserves to get squeezed if it's going to squeeze. If this thing is going to run up into the stratosphere again, it's going to be really hard to sympathize with. It was hard to sympathize with the hedge funds and the market makers before. Now, if this thing starts to run up and the exchanges do their tricks again, where they only let people buy 5 shares or only let people exit their positions and so on, there will be lawsuits out of the hoo-ha, whatever, a Yahoo, out of the yin yang. There will be lawsuits flying all over the place. Yes, the market is rigged. It's rigged in order to provide a stable place for investors to invest money for the long term with companies that are stable. We'll see. We'll see what happens with GameStop today. All right, everybody. That's going to be the live stream for this morning. It's we've got about 13 minutes till the open. Good luck out there today. Manage your risk. I'm keeping my risk low, and I will see you for the recap. Out. Oh, yeah. Hey, click like, subscribe, leave a comment. Anything you want to share with me, I appreciate. I'll talk to you later.